We're just waiting for that president to go. In southern Mexico, I met a woman who initially tried to get to the United States, but had her CPB-1 appointment canceled when President Trump took office. Now she's waiting. After that, we'll try again.
People like Cecilia Zhuc. She came from Guatemala with her husband and 2 kids. She tried to get to the United States and even had an asylum application appointment scheduled through the Customs and Border Protection app. Days into the new...
That's crazy that she's from Guatemala and she trekked through other countries to get to the U.S. So much for asylum seeking, right?
Trump administration, she says her application was canceled.
It had been like 15 days since I did the application when it was removed. And right now, do you still want to go to the United States? We're waiting for that president to go. After that, we'll try, not before. A dream of mine when I leave my country is to do something with my children, and I don't plan to return until I succeed. So you plan on pretending to be a refugee, trying to claim refugee status, to get into the United States, to enrich yourself, and then bring your riches given to you by our country's opportunities back to your home country. No, denied, we don't want you, fuck off, we're full, do whatever the fuck you want in Guatemala, but you can't come here. Why can't you do it in Guatemala? Because there is a great shortage of work. This is me looking at all of the Americans who say they are unable to get work and they're fighting H-1B visa bullshit and these people. Come the fuck on. A shortage of Gibbs.
For now, she and her husband run this store next to a shelter that helps migrants. Previously, the Biden administration expanded the CBP.
She's already running her own business, but it's next to a place that helps migrants, so, you know.
One mobile app so migrants could schedule appointments at ports of entry to request asylum. But the Trump administration...
She needs asylum so badly, she's willing to wait until our current president is gone. That sounds like a fraudulent asylum claim. Get the fuck out. Do not pass go. Do not collect your free shit. Go back home.
Stopped processing thousands of asylum appointments previously made through the CBP-1 app.
Everyone got on because like everyone else has a cell phone and realizes it. The crying, they lost entry to the United States.
Olga Sanchez Martinez runs a Tapachula migrant shelter that is now almost empty.
Wow. Okay.
This is a big space here, which was previously kept full. 100 people who used to live here crammed together. Now there's no one. It's empty. That's good. That means they're not coming, right? Because they're going to get denied. That's good. That's great. That's wonderful. They don't have to live in inhumane conditions. Most of the people returned. One day, 200 left.
In late 2024, the UN surveyed migrants.
So wait a minute, are they telling us that these migrant help shelters are actually just places for the migrants to live in filthy conditions until they get accepted for a fucking coming to the US?
Yes.
So there's literal businesses built on sheltering migrants trying to claim asylum in the US fraudulently? Man, I wonder how many other businesses we're propping up in other countries that way. That's nuts.
Across 5 Mexican cities, 73% told them the U.S. was their final destination.
If you're claiming asylum, you can claim asylum in one of the other countries that has Spanish as their native language instead of trying to make it to the U.S. for free shit. The time for free shit should have been over decades ago, but the next best time for free shit given to foreigners like this to stop is now.
In late 2025, that number was down to 28%.
Oh, we need to get those numbers even lower. I want to see them at like a 1%, all right?
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
The hundreds they surveyed.
A lot of people are going to look at these results and say, hey, this is exactly what they voted for.
Yeah, this is what I voted for, bro.
Coming to the United States. But the question is, where are these migrants going?
Not my problem. I don't care where they go. They just can't come here. Why is that our problem? Go back home.
The conditions many fled haven't just changed.
The conditions of being a business owner? Like, what are we doing here?
For example, the United Nations estimates the displaced population in Haiti jumped over 20% in 2025.
Yeah, I don't care. The Dominican Republic is sending the Haitians home. And the Dominican Republic has every right to maintain their sovereignty and their borders.
And Venezuela's population in need of international protection, as assessed by the UN, is at its highest level in years.
Is it actually? We just yoinked their fucking dictator. Things should be getting better.
But for now, over 1,000 miles north at the US-Mexico border, there are real results. Even though border encounters fell sharply during the last year of the Biden administration, 2025 saw the fewest of them since 1970. And for the first time in decades, the United States had a negative net migration in 2025.
Yay! That's what I like to hear. The UN, who cares? True. She needs asylum while waiting for nearly 4 years in a country that allows her to own a business. Yeah, it's just coming here for free shit. Just coming here for free shit. And if you think it's any other reason, boy, you are gullible as fuck, or you're complicit in wanting to see America fall. California doctor who billed $35 million in hospice care has billing license revoked. And I hope as we read more, there's more repercussions than just getting their fucking license pulled, because that's fucking nothing! That is not an actual detriment to this individual. A California doctor who billed a whopping $35 million in hospice care to Medicare last year has had her billing license revoked. The Post has uncovered a network of physicians who appear to be driving tens of millions of questionable billing in California's hospice system. Dr. Fariba Javaharian, what the fuck? Is a registered dermatologist, but according to Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, billing data obtained by the Post, she is associated with 63 hospice facilities across California, either as a medical director, attending physician, or in some other capacity. She looks like fucking Yzma. Of course she's evil.
Okay, gang, check out this piece of work. This is Yzma, living proof that dinosaurs once roamed the earth.
The National Provider Identifier registered with Dr. Javaharian, a unique 10-digit number given to individual healthcare providers, was used for 1,662 unique patients across the 63 hospice agencies and appeared on more than 6,000 claims that billed $35,816,331. That seems like an insanely high number for 6,000 claims. Following the Post's extensive investigation, CMS revoked Javaharian's license to bill Medicare. When asked for comment about Javaharian's suspension to bill Medicare, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz told the Post, "Do no harm was ignored, and in its place was a practice of devastating damage disguised as help." Dr. Javaharian's white coat was a costume, Oz added. Javaharian is not accused of any wrongdoing. So your investigation uncovered that she fraudulently claimed $35.8 million in medical healthcare claims to Medicare and Medicaid, which are the national healthcare providers. And she got her license revoked, but she's not accused of any wrongdoing. So once again, what the fuck are the repercussions for doing this? Even if you're full-time, all you do is hospice, once you get to the 150, 175, 200 patient range and beyond, that's when you're pushing it and playing with fire. A hospice medical director who operates several facilities in the state told the Post, "Show me a doctor who has 225 patients under their care. It's not physically possible to do a good job." Between January 1st, 2018 and September 30th, 2025, Javaharian's NPI was used for more than 31,000 claims at 130 different hospice agencies, totaling more than 173 million! That's even worse than the 35.8 million that we were talking about earlier! What do you mean it gets fucking worse?
But wait! There's more!
CMS has been closely monitoring Dr. Fariba Javaharian's illicit activities, said CMS spokesman Christopher Krepich, in coordination with Vice President Vance's fraud task force and acting on substantial evidence gathered. CMS revoked Medicare enrollment for Javaharian and took action to stop paying providers with which she was closely affiliated with. Bro, what the fuck? The great and mighty Jabba demands tribute. What the fuck, man? CMS confirmed the dermatologist was tied to dozens of hospice agencies across the state, at least 16 of which have now had their license suspended due to the Post reporting. In doing so, CMS has also suspended these businesses associated with Dr. Javaharian from receiving funds or billing Medicare for any services, Krepich added. A spokesperson for California Attorney General Rob Bonta said his office can't comment on, even to confirm or deny, potential or ongoing investigations. Dr. Javaharian denied working for 63 hospice agencies, instead claimed she was a victim of fraud and that her NPI was stolen through Hospice MD, a cloud-based electronic medical records and software platform. Somehow I just don't believe you. Somehow, I just don't believe that you had no idea any of this was going on and that your medical code thing was being used fraudulently for hundreds of millions of dollars worth of claims. NPI numbers are public and often easy to find. Why? Why would that be? I still don't believe her, but like, why would that be the case? That's crazy. I don't know why we even have the fraud law. Dr. Yzma, true. I've been doing it for 12 years and I've seen so many things and I've been calling here and there, stopping them. I called Hospice MD and they said, no, doctor, you cannot deactivate your account. Javaharian told the Post, Hospice should deactivate your account. Javaharian alleged Hospice MD started fraudulent hospice facilities under her name. They start hospice under me, they charge Medicare, and in a matter of 6 months, they disappear. It's been going on, she said, adding that she is quote-unquote not on their payroll. I don't know. I don't know if I trust this lady. I'm not sure if I believe her. Hospice MD CEO Sahar Joseph told the Post the company is a third-party medical software vendor for hospice agencies and does not create or manage any hospice agencies itself, nor does Hospice MD manage individual user accounts associated with those hospice agencies. I don't believe this lady just because of how much fraud is actually rampant, but if she's telling the truth and the NPI numbers are public and easy to find, I would not doubt that all of these creatures that come here in order to defraud the American people would absolutely use this database that's supposed to be used apparently in good faith by a high trust society. They would absolutely use this to just take any fucking person's number and continually run billing on it. Like, I would also believe that. Phoenix DS, thank you. Wonder if she has $1 million home and expensive car. What about her pension? Yeah, look into her financials to see if she's telling the truth, right? Hospice MD takes fraud complaints seriously. Yeah, okay. Yeah, almost $200 million later, and I'm supposed to believe that? Ain't no fucking way. And encourages individuals who believe their name and or credentials have been used to commit fraud to report such claims to appropriate government agencies responsible for investigating those claims, Joseph said. Further, Hospice MD complies with all lawful subpoenas and search warrants. Hospice MD has not been accused of any wrongdoing. Well, I'm glad that no one in this massive hundreds of millions of dollars fraud cases has been accused of any wrongdoing. That's a relief. How could we ever look at ourselves in the mirror if we held anybody accountable? Experts told the Post that they have not heard of an NPI being stolen to fraudulently bill Medicare. I don't know anybody, nor have I heard of an example where somebody said my NPI was stolen, and that's where fraudulent activities are coming from. A medical director for a hospice company told the Post, adding that he would scream from the rooftops and do everything in his power to clear his name if that did happen. He's got a good point there, and again, I have no idea how the NPI database works. I can only go by what the article is telling me. If they are public and easy to find, I can see people wanting to commit fraud just stealing people's NPI number. But then if her number had been stolen and she knew about it, as she claims, why wasn't she doing more to try and stop the millions of dollars from being billed? Why would she just be like, I'm not on their payroll, but I didn't do anything to stop it? Like, what are we doing here? Javaharian claims she works for only 7 hospice agencies and that she does problem solving for a specific salary between $500 and $2,500 per month. So what kind of problem solving is a dermatologist having to do for a hospice agency? Wouldn't you be doing fucking dermatology things, not problem solving? What does that even mean? For specific money, like within 500, depending on how many patients, I have to do problem solving, Javaharian said. What? Like every 5 minutes I get a call from a patient. Patient is getting better. Patient has a bed sore. Patient fell down. What? How is the patient falling down the dermatologist's problem? She went on to say that her patients frequently die with a minimum of 4 to 5 deaths per day. I couldn't possibly be committing fraud. My patients die frequently. We're not gods, but they're supposed to die, and my patients are dying. Medicare knows me. I'm very open with them, Javaharian said. I have an office, I have my patients, and I keep in touch with all of them. Yeah, that's just not true. Like the other doctor said, when you start getting like over 200 patients, that's fucking impossible. Even if you have 4 to 5 deaths a day from fucking hospice, that's still hundreds of patients that you're claiming also call you every 5 minutes. What are we even doing here? CMS told the Post it has no record of Javaharian contacting the agency, and billing data shows her patients do not appear to be dying at the rates that she claims. I am so shocked. In 2025, at Throne and Kaplan, 2 hospice agencies where Javaharian is listed as the only doctor, no patients died. Yeah, 4 to 5 a day to 0 total. Kind of a big discrepancy there, lady. The dermatologist went on to add that she routinely contacts the California Department of Public Health regarding potential fraudulent activity involving her NPI, as well as the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. You see, a smart person committing fraud will actually have someone put in some things that are glaringly fraudulent so that they can report that fraud themselves, and therefore the rest of the fraud that they're committing looks more like it's on the up and up because they're doing the good guy thing of reporting the obvious fraud that they paid someone to put there. This is how you do fraud in like an intelligent way, but they still got caught. I've been in contact with the Department of Health every single month, she said. I send them a list of my hospices and I email them, I call them and say, you guys protect me if there's anyone using my information behind my back to start the hospice and put patients under my name. They know that. Why would she say this? That seems like a weird thing to say. When the Post asked Javaharian if she could provide one of those monthly emails she sends to CDPH, she refused, and even declined to provide the names of the 7 hospices where she claims to work. I'm done with you. I explained to you on the record. I have nothing else to say, Javaharian told the Post. Oh yeah, she's fucking fried, bro. If anyone actually cares about fraud, she would fry. There is no requirement for doctors working at hospice facilities to send the CDPH monthly updates. When asked to confirm whether Javaharian reported fraudulent activity using her NPI and if she sends routine emails, CPDH replied it is looking into it and have no further comment at this time. The California Department of Public Health takes any allegation of fraud or abuse within the state's licensed healthcare facilities extremely seriously. A spokesperson for the agency said, safeguarding the integrity of hospice services is essential to maintaining public trust and ensuring that patients receive appropriate, high-quality care. Javaharian also said the DA's office started an investigation into her claims that her identity was stolen, adding that she has been working with them and has had conversation with them. A source at the DA's office told the Post that Javaharian did contact the office in early March, but they have not been able to get back in touch since, and there is no investigation to the best of their knowledge. Javaharian is also listed on claims with Domingo Barrientos, who pled guilty in 2024 to conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud and ordered to pay $10,123,260 in restitution. He was sentenced to 63 months in prison. I hate when they use months like this. Like, how fucking long is 63 months? Just tell us in fucking years. You're not a mother to a newborn. What are we doing here? But also, that's not enough months. I don't care how many years that is. It's not enough. It's not enough. And 10 million in restitution, how much did he defraud, right? Because if it's found out that she's responsible for the fraud of like 173 million, right? If she's responsible for that 173 million, in addition to this 35.8 million, she should have to pay all of that back and more. Like, she should be having her wages garnished for the rest of her life making big rocks into little rocks. At St. Teresa Hospice and Palliative Care Incorporated in Burbank, Javaharian and Barrientos are listed as the 2 doctors, billing $703,000 and $2.7 million respectively. So what you're saying is Javaharian worked with that guy who already got convicted and sentenced for fucking scamming, dude? It sounds like she even tried scamming at a lower level. This guy was like, fuck it, 2.7 million. And she was like, 703,000. Maybe I won't get caught. At Comfort Days Hospice in Enrico, California, Javaharian had 90 patients and filed more than 700 claims for a total of $4.2 million, while Barrientos charged taxpayers nearly $300,000, according to data obtained by the Post. Man. The licenses for both hospice facilities were terminated in 2025 because it failed to meet federal standards to be a Medicare certified provider. Although Javaharian was connected to Barrientos, she has not been accused of any wrongdoing. In the greater LA area, there's roughly $3.5 billion in home health and hospice fraud each year, a source told the Post. Why can't we do anything about it? Why do we have a yearly total for fraud Why isn't anything being done for the love of Christ? Equal under the law, folks. Equal under the law. I'm so fucking tired. I'm so fucking tired. A Missouri bill would require citizenship proof for food stamps and healthcare. Missouri lawmakers are considering 43 bills on immigration and immigration rights this year. Missouri lawmakers are considering a bill that would require people to submit proof of citizenship to receive food stamps and government healthcare. Hot take. If you are a foreigner, you should not be eligible for any food stamps or government healthcare. I have to prove that I can support myself if I wish to immigrate to any other country. Therefore, all of the people coming here legally should also have to prove that. Why was this not a thing already? Republican Senator Rick Bratton of Lee's Summit presented the bill to a Senate committee. The measure would prevent non-citizens from accessing government benefit. The bill is being considered by a Senate committee. If approved, the full Senate will debate it. Bratton's bill would require proof of citizenship to be eligible for programs like food stamps and Missouri Health Net. Again, why was this already not fucking required? This is crazy. This will just bring us in line, making sure that there are no people that are here illegally coming here and getting benefits when they're not eligible. The proposal mirrors federal changes made in the Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill. U.S. Department of Agriculture data shows about 4,000 non-citizens in Missouri were enrolled in government benefits. Bratton said the bill addresses what he called food stamp waste. We have billions and billions of dollars being basically stolen from taxpayers going to illegal immigrants who have broken the law to be here and then to come here and receive benefits that taxpayers should be receiving. Chat, my brain is firing on all cylinders. I have a question, all right, okay? If we have foreigners coming here, regardless of legally or illegally, and these legal and illegal people are defrauding our government, stealing our taxpayer dollars, defrauding healthcare, defrauding different Medicare procedures, defrauding food stamps, defrauding housing stuff, if they're just stealing all of this money, enriching themselves, and basically becoming millionaires off of defrauding American taxpayers, wouldn't the millionaire tax in certain states like Massachusetts apply to these people? I mean, if they paid taxes, right? And that would be antithetical to things the Democrats want to do. So that's another funny little thing here that I think someone smarter than me could probably put together a better phrased sentence about. Could, but they won't pay. I mean, they're obviously not going to pay taxes in any way, shape, or form. But it's like, if they're stealing from Americans, basically turning themselves into millionaires, that millionaire's tax should apply to them, but Democrats are never going to make that the case. They don't pay taxes, they cannot, they don't have a social security number. When they do pay taxes, it's usually because they stole someone's social security number. I know years ago, Tim had mentioned that there were a handful of illegals working at his hotel, and the reason that they were able to work there is because they had social security numbers that matched other people that weren't them. And I was like, that's a little fucky, bro. Under the bill, people who cannot provide documents at application may sign an affidavit under oath and receive temporary benefits for the federally required minimum period or 90 days. They would, what? Why are they getting a grace period to sign an affidavit? Why are they giving that? What the fuck? Failure to provide documentation within that period would lead to denial or termination of benefits. They shouldn't even get that period. What are we doing? Oh, you don't have your documents to prove you're a citizen? Here, sign this affidavit and we'll give you your benefits anyway. What's the fucking point? The bill would expand verification through the Department of Homeland Security's SAVE system at application, redetermination, and when status-related changes are reported. Christine Woody of Empower Missouri said the bill would harm Missouri's vulnerable population. Vulnerable to being deported because they don't fucking belong here? What are we doing? Woody said Missouri's most vulnerable populations, like those living in poverty or single parents, are most likely to be harmed by the change. It's going to create more red tape and bureaucracy, and it will impact every individual who's applying for these public benefits, not illegal, undocumented immigrants, Woody said. When you add this whole other layer that's documentation, that's not going to be harming illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants. That's going to be harming citizens who just don't have access to their birth certificate. I am so sick of this line of talking that Americans are just too fucking stupid to have their personal identifying documents. I guess this is a hot take. If you are too stupid to acquire your personal identifying documents, you don't deserve any of these benefits, and you certainly don't deserve to fucking vote. If you are actually too fucking stupid to do that, like Democrats claim, yes, I want you to be disenfranchised, because you can't bring anything valuable to the national conversation. What are we doing here? That's a lie. Get them out now. You want them out of your state? Yeah, it's obviously a lie. And it's crazy that Democrats can keep doing the, oh, well, black people are too stupid to do this. Oh, well, women are too stupid to do this. Married women are too stupid to do this. People are too stupid to have documents for their food stamps. Shut the fuck. They're not actually too stupid. They're not actually. You are just crazy and racist and ridiculous. It's insane. It's actually insane. And if we follow your Democrat logic here, that there are people who are too stupid to get these papers, they shouldn't be allowed to participate. End fucking of. What are we doing? Woody said undocumented immigrants are already not eligible for these benefit programs. I fucking hate these people! If they're already not eligible, then who the fuck cares if we pass it? If they're already not eligible, if they're already not getting these benefits, which we know they are, we know she's a filthy fucking liar, we know that, but if they weren't getting and they weren't eligible, then fucking pass it. It won't do anything, right? Make your enemies look like fucking retards if that's the case. But oh no, that's not the case, because you're a filthy fucking liar who hates Americans. Holy fuck! I'm so mad. I'm so tired. Every single fucking time. It's the same thing. It's the same words. We've been doing the same argument for like 30 fucking years now. Someone fucking do something. Holy shit, I hate politicians. Go off, Fox. You fucking, I'm crashing out, dude. If you're too stupid to get your documents, you're too stupid to be able to get on these benefits anyways. Well, no, because there's some dumb fucking white woman that would help people do it. It's like, oh, you're down on your luck. I gotta help you. You're just a poor little child who doesn't know any better. I know you stabbed that woman on the train and you lit that other one on fire, but like, that's just your culture. You love necklacing. Let's get you into arts and crafts. Hysteria and the increased focus on immigration has really caused folks to try and implement these new complicated systems to prevent undocumented immigrants from receiving benefits when undocumented immigrants are already not eligible for these benefit programs, Woody said. Woody's a fucking retard. Woody is Christine Woody of Empower, Missouri, so she's not even like in a political position. She's just a fucking retard. Bratton said the state must hold the line on the issue. I think we have to do everything we possibly can to make sure we're holding the line on that, Bratton said. If I look up Christine Woody of Empower, Missouri, and she's like some fucking old white bitch, I'm gonna be so mad. Well, at least God cursed her to look like a man. Maybe that's why she enjoys working against the interests of Americans. That's just unfortunate. That's unfortunate, bro. Find the economic justice bills we're keeping an eye on below. This is authorizes the Child Care Contribution Tax Credit Act and the Employer Provided Child Care Assistance Tax Credit Act and the Child Care Provisions Tax Credit relating to tax credits for child care. Authorizes what? That doesn't tell us anything. Modifies provisions related to insurance coverage of self-administered hormonal contraceptives. Proposes a constitutional amendment relating to taxation. Bro, what? Bro, what? Upon voter approval, this constitutional amendment repeals sections 4D and 26 of Article X of the Missouri Constitution and adopts 2 new sections in their place relating to taxation. The amendment authorizes the General Assembly, when enacting any law imposing a tax measured by income, to define income by reference to provisions of federal law, as those provisions may become effective from time to time, whether retrospective or prospective. The General Assembly must set the rate or rates of any such tax and may make exceptions, additions, or modifications to any federal provisions referenced in defining income. The amendment establishes a mechanism to reduce and eliminate the state individual income tax on increases in net general revenue collection. For a calendar year, the rate of individual income tax must be reduced by 0.01% if net general revenue collection in the previous fiscal year exceeded by at least 20 million the amount of net general revenue collections for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. What? They want to eliminate the state individual income tax based on increases in net general revenue collections. So in a calendar year, the rate of individual income tax must be reduced by 0.01%. So you get your personal state income tax reduced by 1/100% if the previous year the state collected more than 20 million in overall taxes? Is that what I'm reading here? Anti-poverty equals Gibbs. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. You really want to ask these people, but if eligibility is enough to prevent fraud, then why don't you just solve poverty by making it illegal and then nobody will be poor because they aren't eligible to be poor? Honestly, they should consider that to fix their pet issue. What the actual fuck? Ryfile, thank you. The US isn't dead. We just have bitter hippies. It's like you can't have a functioning country when half of it is working to destroy it and the judicial arm is also working to destroy it. I would like to save what is left and rebuild. The amount of net general revenue collections for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 must be adjusted annually by the rate of inflation. If the minimum amount of net general revenue collections required to trigger a reduction is met, each additional increase in net general revenue collections in the previous fiscal year by 20 million beyond that minimum must result in an additional reduction of 1/100%, up to a maximum reduction of 1 6/10% in a calendar year. This just sounds like gobbledygook. If you're gonna do anything to the income tax, just fucking get rid of it, bro. Just fucking get rid of it. It's funny, both of us have the same #1 priority, criminal justice reform. Bet, however, that we have very different ideas on how to reform it. I bet that we don't. I think that you just have to understand my precarious position of wanting to still be able to pay my bills. As a Missourian, what the fuck is happening in your state? This crazy Empower Missouri company, I guess. They have upcoming events. Friday, April 10th, the Food Security Coalition meeting. They have Affordable Housing Coalition call. April 16th, Community Justice Coalition meeting. That's very interesting. You hate liberal, crazy white women? Liberals are fucking crazy at this point in time. We're already seeing the teen takeover language chat. Chicago teens take over Hyde Park last night, and this was on March 31st. Jump on cars and leave them damaged. We don't have to live like this. Look at that teen takeover. Look at how nice teen takeover language sounds. They're just being teens. They're just having a fun time, chat. You know, you have insurance. You can afford to fix your car. Just let teens be teens. They're being affected by summer temperatures, don't you know? Hirugamesh, thank you. I hate these teens. Absolutely ridiculous. As they're like, well, we can't do anything about this. Arresting anyone would be bad. Same as moped driving persons. Man, that does look fiery, but mostly peaceful. So much for your nice new car. This has been a reason why I've been terrified of like street parking my entire life. Because it's just like, yeah, if it's in a driveway, someone could still come on your property and fuck it up. But if it's on the street, I've always felt like it's much more likely to get damaged by people doing shitty things. I'm feeling sufficiently diversified. Can we go home? No, says the magic school bus driver. An African man claims that the original Japanese were black who were formed when Ethiopians brought South Koreans into Japan. That's actually true. Japanese people aren't real. They're just a mystery meat concoction between Ethiopians and South Koreans. That's why the South Koreans get so angry at the Japanese comfort women.
Japanese were formed when Ethiopians brought South Koreans onto the island.
Were formed, by the way. I thought I worded that as heinously as possible, but somehow this guy still beat my joke.
They're experts! Experts, Bob!
And combined with the original people there known as the Ainu. The Ainu now, you're going to find the Ainu in the Philippines. They're going to be called Negritos. You're going to find them in Vietnam. They're called the Champa or the Montagnards.
I don't think I can call them that.
Throughout the Far East. Very dark complexion, very curly hair, wide nose, thick lip. You will also find those with straight hair.
Instead of how is Babby formed, it's now how is Japanese formed. That explains Yasuke. We're formed from a petri dish, apparently. Holy shit, man. Take this man to Japan, let our base Eastern brothers take care of him. What is he on about? You're black and you know that's retarded. Man, I have no idea. I have no idea how people even get on this, like, train of thought. It is just wild to me. There were a whole bunch of people reposting this Red Sox clip, and it is kind of wondrous to see what Boston looked like in the 1950s. That's not even 100 years ago. The change in Boston has happened in less than 100 years. Watching this video is insane. And there were some people saying, like, oh, you know, we've crossed the Rubicon so much that, like, official sports accounts are posting things that you would only see from niche right-wing account commentators on Twitter. And it's like, I think you're looking into this a bit too much. I don't think Fenway posted this to be like, look at what your culture used to be. Don't you want this back? I think that is how it's going to be taken, but from them locking comments on absolutely everything, I imagine that is not how they intended it to be.
Boston skyline bids welcome as it looms over the Charles River Basin. Tulips in the public gardens signal another New England springtime. Red Sox fans have had a long winter's wait, and they're always eager to be at Fenway for opening day.
Yes, sir, let's go to the ball game. We're outside with the crowd right now on the Jersey Street side of the park. Time for that program, though, that scorecard, peanuts now. Baseball and Gansett a bit later. It's the opening of another baseball season, and the usual colorful ceremonies get things off to a good start.
And another season is underway as the Boston team breaks onto the field.
Well, here's the first pitch, and the season is officially underway.
We appreciate your loyalty to the Boston Red Sox.
It's just kind of amazing to me that we've gotten to a point of degradation that people are reminiscing to be around Red Sox fans. Let's just take that in for a second. Apparently, ADVANCEDgg blocked this Kodiak VTuber who was a partner with them. He was like, wow, you failed to pay me and have now blocked me. Good thing I left. But yeah, that's kind of fucking weird. Hopefully, it's just like a delayed payout and he gets it, because this looks really fucking bad for this company. And I tweeted out, Ben's to a mob demanding a sponsored creator's head. I just want to remind everyone that this entire ADVANCEDgg debacle is because Miss Lala tweeted out, fuck ICE. Rev made a tweet back at her. She responded to Rev and then locked her replies on her own tweet. And as we all know, when you say something political and you lock your replies, you get fucking bodied. That's how PvP works on Twitter. She quoted some Bible verses back at Rev. He quoted some Bible verses back at her. And then the entire, like, crazy SSRI duped up version of Twitter people decided that the best thing to do was to get Rev dropped from his sponsors for harassment. For a public conversation that he was having a back and forth with another creator. Actual insanity that he got dropped from his sponsor for that, while they still have people on their team who harass other creators. Actually fucking wild. And then after that, they did a fucking piss poor job on social media management, to the point where one guy even was like, yeah, I'll probably get fired for replying to all of you guys. Did he get fired? I have no fucking idea, but like, why would you say that? And now, apparently, they're not even paying creators who are no longer with them. Again, hopefully this is just like a delayed final payout, but it's still like, what the fuck are you doing? You had so much goodwill and you just pissed it. All you had to do was nothing, and nothing seems to be the hardest thing to do for these companies. You swear that VTubers and artists can't keep their mouths shut when it comes to topics they're not even capable of engaging in? And it's just like, as much as I disagree with her, if Miss Lala wants to say fuck ICE, she can do so. I definitely don't agree with it, but to say fuck ICE and then try to cry harassment after people respond to you publicly, if people are going in her DMs, I would say it's different. But like, that's fucking wild, bro. And like, even scrolling her comments on stream, I was like, she doesn't even have anything in here that's like crazy fucking erroneous. There's some people like using swear words, ooh, but they weren't even using slurs. BRB, will you make up a story about your brother getting brutalized by ICE? Yeah, that fucking story was so weird. It still bugs you that none of these creators being released from places like ADVANCEDgg aren't filing lawsuits against the people whining to the companies for tortious interference and the company for contract violations. Lawsuits do cost money, and so I can see why some people would be like, I don't know if I can afford to do this, but if Kodiak doesn't end up getting paid out whatever he had left from Advance, I would absolutely want to talk to a lawyer, because that's fucking ridiculous. I don't even know what to say. Her fuck ICE tweet had 3 negative comments before she locked it, and you think only one of those came from someone that also follows Rev, and it was a fuck you too? Yeah, we had like, I went through the timestamps on things, and I was like, her tweet was only unlocked for like, what, 13 minutes or something like that? Like, it was a really short period. It wouldn't surprise you if they've done this to multiple people. Definitely need to keep an eye out for Advance to be named in a class action lawsuit. There's no way what they're doing is legal. All you have to do is nothing, and then you win. ADVANCEDgg went from being well respected to a laughing stock. Now let's point and laugh. And it's like, I love to see how quickly they fell from grace, because it's like, that should show all of us here that individually, if we come together and if a company makes like an egregious knee-bending to the cancel mob mistake, you can absolutely torch them. And especially in a niche space like for creators, if cancel mobs try getting creators struck from sponsors for wrongthink, you have the power to absolutely tank that company. And it's great if you go to ADVANCEDgg's page. If you go to their page, they haven't posted too many things recently, but like here's one where they're like, oh, we're looking to partner with creators in Marathon. And I love to see this, because all of their comments, remember that time you removed 2 of your partners because someone on Twitter got mad? Just be aware, if you're ever deemed problematic, they'll drop you like a sack of crap. Will you drop them if they hold conservative views? Wild idea! How about you pay the people what you owe them and stop being a shitty company for 5 seconds? Why? So we can be canceled over your politics? This you? Where's the partnership? Isn't it crazy how y'all get called out by your own creators and then block them both on here and your own platform after refusing to pay them what they deserve? Like, I love this. I love seeing this. Do not let people forget what these companies have done. Talking about it, making sure everyone knows what's going on is important, because if you shut up about it, if you stop talking about it, they can try and rebuild their image and people will absolutely forget what they did. Do this with journalists, do this with companies, do this with individuals who try and ruin the lives of others. No one should forget. That's how they rewrite history. So going to advanced comments and just seeing all of these people continually pointing out all of the shit that they did, 2 fucking thumbs up. It's amazing. I love to see it. Asmongold calls out heretics pushing subversive ideology through Christianity, uses James Tallarico as an example. I think I've heard the name James Tallarico, but I don't remember anything about him, and I really hope this clip echoes the shit that I constantly say in here, where it's like, people have infiltrated and subverted Christianity to the point where all you see in the news are the Christians that make other Christians look like cucks. And it's like, I hate seeing those people. I hate seeing what the subversion has done. I might not believe in the religion anymore, but it still fucking sucks to see it being used as a whipping boy constantly. So let's watch the clip.
So somewhere along the line in the West, people psyoped Christians into thinking that being a good Christian is being obedient to people that want to subvert you.
I love it. I love hearing things that have come out of my mouth from his mouth. Holy shit.
And I think that what's happened is that there are so many Christians that have bought into this psyop and this manipulation that you have, I mean, even sometimes the Pope says things that I think are not true. I think that they're not,
it's crazy.
They're not in line with what basically what they do is they take the entire page and they take out one sentence. And it's like, Jesus said that you should love your neighbor. And Jesus also, and God also said a million other things, but we're going to ignore all those. And we're just going to say this one thing. And loving your neighbor means you have to give foreigners all your stuff. So they're effectively co-opting and using the religion as a vehicle to push a different ideology.
It's that Smuggies meme. It's the Smuggy meme where he's like, I have nothing but contempt and hatred for your backwards religious ideology, but I know if I say this thing to you, you believe in it, so I can get you to do what I want. Fuck him.
Pope only represents Catholics, not Christians. No, you're right about that. That's true. And I think that's what's happened. And I think that's the big issue why Christianity, like you see, I think a great example of this type of thing is James Tallarico. I think that he is the prime example of a bad actor who uses the Christian faith as a vehicle to push ideology that's subversive to people that they're preaching to. He's a Trojan horse. He's not even a Trojan horse. He's just literally the enemy at the gates, right? It's nothing else really more complicated than that. Tallarico's a heretic? Yeah, I think he is.
I don't know anything about Tallarico. I do not know anything about Tallarico, so I can't comment on that. But it is wonderful to hear what I've been saying from someone else. It makes me feel less crazy, man. Church volunteer confesses to setting French cathedral on fire. Lawyer of the 39-year-old says he admitted starting the blaze at the Cathedral of St. Peter and St. Paul. The lawyer of a volunteer at a Gothic cathedral in western France's Nantes town said he confessed to setting the building on fire that severely damaged 17th century organ and blew out stained glass. That quote about they will make a fire out of your beautiful oak door comes back to mind. They do not give a shit about anything in our countries. The 39-year-old accused, an asylum seeker from Rwanda who's lived in France for several years, was arrested earlier this month after laboratory analysis determined that arson was the likely cause of the blaze, the local prosecutor's office said. My client has cooperated, lawyer Quentin Chabert told the Presse Ocean newspaper on Sunday, without elaborating on motives for attempting to burn down the Cathedral of St. Peter and St. Paul. Are we being serious right fucking now? We don't know the motive for this guy burning down a cathedral? He bitterly regrets his action. My client is consumed with remorse, Chabert said. My mind is consumed with images of what would have happened to this man who tried to burn down the cathedral if this were like the 1800s or even the early 1900s. Because that's probably what should happen to him today instead of getting this lawyer to defend him. Prosecutors opened an arson inquiry after the early morning fire on July 18th after finding that it broke out in 3 different places in the church, which the volunteer had locked up the night before. He was taken in for questioning the next day, but later released without charge, with the cathedral's rector saying, I trust him like I trust all helpers.
Bad idea.
Why? Why are they like this? But Nantes prosecutor Pierre Sens said in a statement he had been charged with destruction and damage by fire and faces up to 10 years in prison and €150,000, $175,000, in fines. He admitted during his first appearance for questioning before the investigating judge that he had set 3 fires in the cathedral, at the main organ, the smaller organ, and the electrical panel. What? The electrical and you're believing that he regrets this? Shut the fuck up. This reminds me of that fucking story in Germany of that dumb politician lady who had 2 adopted children from some like foreign African country, and they beat her to fuck, tied her to a chair, and tortured her. And then when the police came, she was like, you know, they apologized and they said that they were sorry, and the police were like, well, they understood that they did something wrong and they're regretful, so we're just not even gonna bother arresting them. That's fine. Bro, when you can tie a politician to a chair and beat them senseless and get off with a I'm sorry, or you can just like murder white children in the United States and get off with like $1,000 fine, at what point do we come to understand that it's just legal to do these things? The blaze came 15 months after the devastating fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, which raised questions about the security risks for other historic churches across France. While firefighters were able to contain the Nantes blaze after just 2 hours and save the cathedral's main structure, the famed organ, which dated from 1621 and had survived the French Revolution and World War II bombardment, was destroyed. Bro, this organ survived the French Revolution and bombing during World War II, but it could not survive modern flooding of diverse individuals from foreign nations. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we doing? We actually need consequences for these kinds of actions instead of being like, oh, he said he's sorry. We need to start saying no to women who want more of this in our countries. Also lost were priceless artifacts and paintings, including a work by the 19th century artist Hippolyte Flandrin, and stained glass windows that contained remnants of 16th century glass. Work on the cathedral began in 1434 and continued over the following centuries until 1891. It had already been damaged by a more serious fire in 1972 when officials added concrete reinforcements while redoing the roof over the next 13 years. The French government said it will ensure the cathedral's restoration, though few elements of the main organ are likely to be saved, said Philippe Chiron, head of the regional DRAC State Heritage Agency. It will take several weeks to secure the site and several months of inspections that will be carried out stone by stone. Reconstruction will take several years, he said. Reconstruction is pointless without mass deportations. Reconstruction means fucking nothing because they can burn it down again. You need mass deportations. Marco Rubio tweeted out, until recently, Hamadeh Soleimani Afshar and her daughter were green card holders living lavishly in the United States. Afshar is the niece of deceased Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani. She is also an outspoken supporter of the Iranian regime who celebrated attacks on Americans and referred to our country as the Great Satan. This week, I terminated both Afshar and her daughter's legal status, and they are now in ICE custody, pending removal from the United States. The Trump administration will not allow our country to become a home for foreign nationals who support anti-American terrorist regimes. I fucking love to see this, and I cannot wait until I open fucking x.com and I see Marco Rubio posting about how Ilhan Omar has been detained for deportation. If we can get that tweet, I will like delay stream to go get a cake made. All right, like I need this tweet in my life. Apparently, I don't really follow Linus Tuck's tips too much, but apparently he like laid off a fuck ton of his employees, and they're talking like, you kind of start thinking, well, you're working on your boss's third house, if you're ever going to be able to buy a house. Damn, I felt that in my bones. So like people are just dogging on him for like, holy fuck, you fired a bunch of employees, you had a bunch of employees who just left and were complaining about the working conditions and the pay, and you're buying a private jet? What in the fuck does Linus Tuck Tips need a private jet for? What? This is like some Hassan Piker bullshit, man. You're a tech YouTuber. Why do you need a private jet? Like, he can do whatever he wants with his money, right? Obviously. But it's just really silly when all of his employees are talking about, like, how they left and how bad the pay was, and he's just like, hey guys, I got my private jet.
So the April Fool's wasn't a joke? We actually bought a jet?
What started as a meme on WAN show when I discovered that a jet-propelled aircraft is not as expensive as I initially thought. I'm serious.
How much is not as expensive?
Even Luke was shocked. So I started exploring various options, and my uncle's in aviation and has been for many years on the pilot side, mechanical side, and operations side.
Okay.
So when I started to explore that one aircraft that I was like, this is shockingly affordable.
Wait, I see some of you guys saying $5 million. Did that show up on screen and I just missed it?
He did a bunch of the due diligence for me and ultimately brought me 2 sales brochures, and he went, don't do this. But if you're going to do this, these are the 2 best ways you can do it.
Okay.
And I picked a Dassault Falcon 900B.
I have so many questions.
You and everyone. Cool, hey? Welcome, sir, to Influence Air.
Thank you. Oh, wow. Dude, this is dumb in the best way possible.
Right? So, are you ready for a bomb?
Well, not in a plane.
See, again, like, I think this is kind of cool to see, but when you have employees talking about, hey, maybe pay us more, because, like, we're working on your third house, but, like, I can't afford a house, that's where it gets kind of like, hey, that's kind of strange. That's kind of, I didn't notice my BGM was still on. Like, if like, Caleb Hammer bought a jet, I don't think a single person would fucking care, right? Like, I don't think anyone would fucking care, because he seemingly pays his employees well. Linus is a 30-year-old boomer.
Can't say that.
A truth bomb.
Oh.
Would you like to know who the original owner of this plane is? Who is responsible?
Caleb hates flying. If you hate flying, that's even more of a reason for a private jet, because then you get to ignore all of the things that make flying terrible, right? You don't have to bother with TSA. You don't have any fucking security checks. You don't have to like worry about some rogue pilot crashing your plane. You can vet the pilots yourself, you know? You don't have to worry about DEI training. Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's great. You don't have to interact with anyone besides those you invite to your plane.
For the gold-plated ashtrays and gold-plated
Why is he giggling
sinks.
like that?
Hold on. I'll let you see it first.
Okay.
Every single time you fly, your first thought is, I'm on a flying coffin 15,000 feet in the air that can go down, and I'm traveling for 14 hours across the ocean. Same. I sit in my seat and I look out the window and I'm like, man, I hope my pilot is a man. I hope he's a man, and I hope he has a lot of flights under his belt, because like I'm literally in a tuna can in the sky, and if anything happens, I'm fucking dead. I'll miss my cats. Like what? When will stream find out that I died? You know, it'll be like a couple of weeks of missed streams, and even one missed stream without any kind of heads up, people will be like, there's something wrong, she doesn't do that. But how long would it take for it to come out that, like, I'm actually dead? What? I haven't made a will yet. How can I ensure that all of my material possessions go to my father?
That's so...
Boop! Why is there a boop?
Oh my goodness.
24 karat on that, baby.
Is it actually?
Yeah. Played it.
Oh, I thought you were kind of...
Why would you 24 karat gold plate a sink? Like... Isn't 24 karat gold like really, really soft? So that's not a very good idea. That's a lot of carats.
Okay, I thought you were joking.
No.
Is this like Trump's plane?
This plane has had a few owners, but originally it was owned by the government of the United Arab Emirates, allegedly. So this is what I've heard. This is what I've heard.
Okay.
May or may not be true, but that is my understanding of the origin of this aircraft.
Be jamming, thank you. Linus hasn't revealed who owned the plane first, but you're saying it was owned by Trump. It felt like he was going for the fake out where he was trying to make people think it was owned by Trump with all the like gold-plated stuff, and then switched it up to the UAE. The extra gold was taking up space needed for the kidnapped children, so they gilded the sink. Didn't Trump gold-plate his toilet? Well, I could understand like 10 karat gold plating, but 24? That seems like it'd be too soft for like a sink or a toilet, you know? A TikToker who called America a shithole trashed the USA nonstop and bragged about escaping to Mexico just announced she's moving back less than 2 months later. She and her husband grabbed dual citizenship, packed up their kids, and couldn't stop gushing about their move to Mexico. Amazing country, incredible food, affordable healthcare. She even mocked her husband's Mexican family for buying into American propaganda when they warned them not to go. Fast forward less than 2 months, their son got seriously sick, savings are gone on healthcare bills, and now they're rushing back to the US for the free American treatment that they loved trashing. All that hype and attitude collapsed in weeks. Funny how fast paradise turns into a return ticket to the country that they were hating on. Wow, I'm so shocked. But I think this is a good thing. Not a good thing that their idiotic politics got their son seriously sick. That's horrendous, and their shitty parents. But I think that anybody who trashes the US and thinks that another country is better should be encouraged to go live in that other country.
What do I do when a lot of my family and friends are trying to convince me to not move to Mexico? Mainly my husband's family. Like, we can sit and list the long-ass list of pros with, like, very little cons, but the cons are just thrown. And that's, like, the only thing they see. How we're gonna get a job, how we're gonna make money. And the thing is, my husband's...
Those are pretty big cons, if you think about it, because, like... yeah, how are you gonna make money? How are you gonna get a job? That's kind of important to, I don't know, living?
Family's Mexican. They've lived in Mexico, but the area that they lived in is nothing like the area we're moving to. Like, it's not even comparable. Like, how is it that Mexicans have fallen for American propaganda of Mexico? Because where we're moving is amazing. It's
the foreshadowing is crazy. It is you who has fallen for the propaganda, dear nose ring individual.
Thriving. We're moving to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. It's like 30 minutes from Cancun. They're acting like where we're moving isn't safe.
That's really funny. That's really funny because my mother, whose only job I can ever think of she ever had was working at like a retail porn shop, right? My mother who got like child support checks from 2 different men. My mother who got food stamps and welfare because she was way below the poverty line. My mother who was on a million different medications, probably also paid for by taxpayers if I had to wager a fucking guess. She went to Cancun multiple times. My mother loved Cancun. Be jamming, thank you. If Ethan Ralph can survive in Mexico, it says a lot if someone can't. And he lives in a shack with a soon-to-be baby mama 3. I still hope someone rescues his cats.
Or livable. We want our kids to be a majority, not a minority. I want to be a
How come it's okay for her to say that she wants her kids to be a majority, not a minority, but as soon as a white person says, yeah, I want to date another white person so that we have white children and so we can have more white people in our country built by white people, why is that bad? Why is that a bad thing? Hold on, wait a minute.
Majority and not a minority. Real food, affordable healthcare, tropical beaches, jungle, not having to fear for our safety.
Hearing tropical beaches and jungle in the same sentence is a little weird. It checks out, but it's still like, hold up, wait a minute.
Safety due to racism. Diverse.
What?
Trump not being our president. It's affordable and we can live comfortably. Like, what about that isn't worth it? Like, I'm confused. We were finally able to escape the United States, and we're having to move back already.
That cut was so fucking good. We were able to escape, by the way, the United States, and now we're having to move back. That was what, November 2025? You can't see the text on the screen, but this first video was from November 2025. The second video that's about to play, April 2026. It's like not even half a year, bro.
Not even 2 months after. The reason being that our 4-year-old son got extremely sick the first week that we were here. He had a terrible fever.
He just like Bagman, for real.
Throwing up blood, terrible diarrhea. His whole body was in terrible pain. He was screaming in pain and agony for days.
See, I love that these retards are getting comeuppance and have to go back to America after trashing the country. Not that I want them back, but it's like, well, you get what you fucking deserve. I feel bad for their child, because their child is an unintended and innocent party in all of this, and their child is facing the worst of their decision. Like, their child is suffering with probably some kind of weird fucking parasite sickness, and they're just like, we have to go back to the country that we escaped from now for better health care.
Took him to the doctor and they gave him different medication. He ended up having a bacterial infection in his stomach and his body. And since then, he has recovered, but he's still having really bad lingering problems. And we're starting to think that he has an autoimmune disorder. So with that, we're having to go to the States to get him the proper care. We've had to spend hundreds, thousands of dollars out of pocket that we were not planning on.
Yeah, all that better health care, bro. Good luck.
So now, we're going back to the United States to get our son the care that he needs, and we're having to let go of this dream of living here in Mexico. Are we going to get a bunch of...
We're having to let go of this dream. Can you imagine not being able to admit you were wrong to such a degree? That your child is suffering from some fucking, like, parasite and bacterial infection, and you're just like, we have to give up on our dream of living in this country.
If I told you so's, probably. But there was no way that we could prevent our son getting this sick. We were not expecting these hospital bills, medication. I feel really fucking sad because...
We were not expecting these things that we were praising the country for supposedly not having before. How could we have predicted this?
We got rid of everything in the United States. We got rid of our home, our car, our jobs, and we left so
much.
Fucked.
Get fucked,
just
idiot.
Just to go home and restart with nothing. Pray for us.
What do you mean just to have to go home and restart with nothing? You went to Mexico, where you're going to start with nothing. Moving back to the U.S. is both admitting you're wrong and starting from less than nothing. Because if you move back to the same area, everyone's gonna be like, oh, look, it's that fucking retard. That thought things would be better there. You hope that her kid remembers this when he's older. There are some people that said, like, the kid will probably grow up to be just like them, but it's like, Sometimes that can happen. But typically, when you see your parents being retarded, that kind of gets embedded in you. Like, I don't think I praise my mother for anything.
Good vibes, please, because we really do need it.
No good vibes, only bad vibes for you. Where did I put my tiny violin?
This is serious. I know. This really is the world's smallest violin. See?
Dozens of fishermen end up losing parts of their bodies because of the wolf fish. This is because many people don't imagine that even after being dead and headless, it is still capable of doing this. This is crazy. If our country ever gets taken over by hordes of savages who want to transform the country and behead the natives, if I get beheaded, I hope I do this. It doesn't even look like it has teeth! How did it do that? How did it do that? That's crazy! And look, just look at the way he throws the head on the fucking table. And even dead and beheaded, it has that much of a gripper? It's like when you go in for the granny gum job and she forgot to take her dentures out. Like, holy fuck. That's crazy.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
ICE pulled a slick move. ICE pulled off a slick mass arrest ploy in Pennsylvania today, tricking dozens of illegals into coming to the DMV under the guise of renewing their CDLs. As soon as they arrived, they were rounded up and arrested. That's how it's done. We need more of these, like, ICE mind games. Please put up more, like, Bugs Bunny fake come renew your CDL at the DMV today and just round him up and arrest him. Like, this is some Looney Tunes shit, and I am all here for it. Creative solutions. He's so creative. Look at this building. I hate buildings like this. Why do they have CDLs? Because we're not giving enough punishments to companies that hire illegals. There need to be massive fines for companies that hire illegals. There need to be jail time for the people who are actually in the hiring process for the illegals. We need heavy fucking repercussions for this to stop happening. But look at that. It's fucking crazy. Thanks, ICE. Bless you, ICE agents. Not only does it let ICE bag a bunch of illegals, it also causes them to be mistrustful of the leftists doing things like this for real. Win-win. True. A man and a woman who entered the United States illegally 3 decades ago were arrested by DHS this month after their adult children brought an explosive device to a military base with intent to harm. Wow, that's crazy. Chinese Americans accused of terrorism were anchor babies for illegal parents. A man and a woman who entered the U.S. illegally 3 decades ago were arrested by the Department of Homeland Security after their children brought an explosive device to a military base. Qiu Qin Zhou and Jia Zhang illegally entered the United States in the 90s, were denied asylum, but remained in the country for several decades. You know, as you do, because apparently we're just incapable of enforcing any of our fucking laws! The Daily Wire has learned. They had 2 children as they illegally resided in the country, Anne-Marie Zhang and Alan Zhang. Last week, the Department of Justice charged 27-year-old Anne Zhang with her part in attempting to explode an IED at the MacDill Air Force Base Visitor Center in Tampa. She was arrested as she returned to the United States from China, where authorities believe her brother remains. DHS arrested the duo's parents on March 18th for illegal entry. Qiu Qin Zhou and Jia Zhang remain in ICE custody. They had applied for asylum in 1993, but their applications were denied by an immigration judge, who ordered their removal from the U.S. in 1998. Why did their removal take, like, fucking so many years, dude? Why? It was like, what, 5 years? Why did it take so long? They should have been removed post-haste. DHS says that the Board of Immigration Appeals repeatedly denied their attempts to have their case reopened. Despite this, they remained in the United States for decades. Why? Why are we not just deporting these people immediately? Why are they allowed to stay after they've been given an order for removal? The arrests come as the Supreme Court mulls President Donald Trump's executive order banning birthright citizenship. Automatically granting citizenship to children of illegal aliens born in the U.S. is based on a historically inaccurate interpretation of the Citizenship Clause and poses a major national security risk, argued Acting Assistant Secretary Lauren Biss. That reality became apparent last week when 2 U.S.-born children of Chinese illegal aliens were indicted for planting a potentially deadly explosive device outside MacDill Air Force Base in Florida. This incident underscores the severe national security threat that illegal immigration and birthright citizenship pose to the United States. DOJ said in a release that both Anne Zheng and her brother had attempted to damage government property by fire or explosion, and that Anne Zheng helped her brother in order to hinder and prevent his apprehension, trial, and punishment. Anne Zheng is also charged with corruptly altering, destroying, mutilating, and concealing a 2010 black Mercedes-Benz GLK 350 with the intent to impair its integrity and availability for use in the federal prosecution of Alan Zheng. What's that like black singer guy's name who totally didn't murder that minor that he totally wasn't in a pedophilic relationship with, and she totally just crawled into a trash bag by herself inside of his Tesla and died? Well, maybe that guy should hire this Chinese national. Yeah, David. Thank you, chat. Yeah, maybe David needs to hire this Chinese lady. Don't forget, she also dismembered herself. That's right. I'm sorry. She also dismembered herself. Women just do that sometimes. But I thought this was an interesting story. And on top of this, somebody retweeted it and said, Chinese anchor babies bombing American military bases is actually what the founders envisioned, chud. Also, the president is allowed to grant legal status to millions of illegals with a phone app, and his successor isn't allowed to cancel it. It's called originalism, by the way. We just need to throw out the people who don't think America should be a country. Because if you don't think America should be a country, first of all, why the fuck are you here? Get the fuck out. Second of all, why are you trying to be a part of our government? It's only going to be to destroy us further. The call is coming from inside the house, and the Bogdanovs cannot save you. They said a federal judge in Denver sentenced a black man to only 46 months in federal prison on April 1st for carrying out a hate crime hoax to benefit black Colorado Springs mayoral candidate Yemi for mayor, who then won over the Republican white candidate. Man, all you have to do is fake a hate crime in order to win your electoral seat? That seems so easy. Also, imagine being in Colorado Springs and the name of your mayor is Yemi Mobolade. Derek Bernard Jr. burned a cross in front of Yemi Mobolade's campaign sign, which was defaced with a racial slur. Bernard promised Mobolade that he would help him win, and Mobolade did win. Mobolade, fucking the ice cream man? What the fuck is his name? Moto whatever did win, but he claims it was because he ran a good campaign and he was never charged. Bernard is already in state prison for a 2019 murder. So yeah, they are the same guy. We have a black man burns a cross to frame a white candidate to get sympathy vote for the black candidate for mayor. The hoax works, the black man wins. This was in 2023 in Colorado Springs, and the truth came out after the election. The hoaxer finally went on trial, and this week got nearly 4 years in prison. It's about time phony racism was punished, but who would have won the election if it had not been for the hoax? That's a great question. Shouldn't this mayor have to have some special election because the hoax helped him win? Shouldn't that be how that works? This feels like the fever stage of a nation with an infection analogy. Let's hope we can sweat it out and beat the disease. I don't know about sweating it out, but yeah. A chic little town may have gotten its first black and Democrat mayor only because of the phony cross burning. Ritzy Wild West City rocked after black resident was caught cross burning as jurors fail to accept his bizarre excuse over the incident. Colorado Springs man has been sentenced to almost 4 years in prison following a bizarre cross-burning incident that served as a desperate attempt to elect a mayoral candidate. I mean, can you call it a desperate attempt if it worked? Derek Bernard, 36, was sentenced on April 1st after he was found guilty on conspiracy charges for burning a cross in front of a black political candidate's campaign sign, defaced with a racial slur, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Bernard and his wife, Ashley Blackcloud, 40, set up the cross-burning to frame Wayne Williams, who is white, and was running against Mayor Yemi Mobolade in a runoff election. The scheme was intended to help elect Mobolade by making it appear as though Williams had burned the cross. Bernard and Black Cloud shared the shocking image on their social media profiles, emailed it to Mobilade, and distributed it to media outlets. Anyone who tries telling you that like the word racist has lost its meaning and it doesn't mean anything anymore needs to look at something like this. If you can stage a fake hate crime and blame a white dude for something that you did in the fake hate crime, and that helps get a mayor elected, yeah, racism is still a very potent fucking currency. Evidence uncovered during the trial was revealed that prior to the incident, Bernard sent a message to Mobilade that said he was mobilizing my squad in defense, Black Ops style Big Brother. He then texted Black Cloud, I got a plan. The clan cannot be allowed to run this city again. The guy running against him is just a white dude. Not every white dude is the clan or a Nazi or a racist, but to these leftist psychopaths, if you are white, you are some kind of heretical nonsense that needs to be destroyed, it seems like. The Klan in Colorado! Yeah, right? Cross-burning is protected by the First Amendment, but prosecutors argued that the demonstration was threatening to Mobilade. It's not threatening if it was a fucking hoax designed to help him get elected. That's fucking crazy, man. Mobilade testified that the message forced him and his wife to stop walking their children to school for fear of their safety. I hate how much these people lie. I hate how much these people lie, and we're just expected to try and take things in good faith. There is no good faith anymore. That has been completely destroyed. Literally several lines up, it says that fucking Bernard text messaged the guy and said he's mobilizing his squad. And then he did this. And now the mayoral candidate was just like, oh, I'm so scared. That forced my wife and I to stop walking our dog and our children. Just shut up. Shut up. He added that his wife started having nightmares about their home being set on fire, and they purchased an escape ladder. I don't believe any family should have to live like that. Yeah, and I agree. It's a good thing yours was fucking fake, and you don't know what it's like to have actual fucking threats lobbed at you. Disingenuous fuckwits. Pretend to be victims while having the world wrapped around your finger. Yeah, it's just like, it's crazy how you can read this article and see their lies being unfolded in real time. And then like, I've had people, like whenever people like defend me about my cancellation campaign and are like, oh, Kirsche had to like leave her apartment. People like, proof? Can we have proof that she was doxxed? And it's like, you want me to post an image that has like my address and shit on it? Like, what do you want? People who actually watch my stream have seen the times I've been gone, have heard the changes in my background, know that things have changed by way of listening to me. Like, it's insane. It's insane. They lie while demanding proof from you. Mobilade has denied any involvement with the cross-burning scheme, and he said the extreme activists had taken advantage of him during the election. Yeah, I just don't believe you. I just don't believe that someone texted you about their intent and then did the fake hate crime and then you knew nothing else about it. I just don't believe you. Prosecutors also stressed the importance of the demonstration occurring within days of the mayoral election. Mobilade and Williams were facing off at the time in a runoff after the general election on April 4th, 2023. Neither received a majority of the votes, so a runoff was scheduled for May 16th. A day after the general election, Bernard texted Black Cloud that he wanted to talk in person because he was not talking on the phone about nothing that's about to happen. According to a federal indictment, on April 13th, Bernard messaged Black Cloud again on Facebook, I can't let the clan retake the city. Once again, reading this one article should wake up people to the fact that it doesn't matter if you're not a racist. They're going to call you one anyways, and they're going to treat you like you deserve to be attacked. He added that he believed Mobilade really won already, but the election was heading to a runoff because they ain't trying to let an African win. Mobilade won the runoff and became the first black and non-Republican mayor of Colorado Springs. Williams is white and previously served as Colorado's Secretary of State as a Republican. On April 23rd, Bernard, Black Cloud, and a woman named Deanna West painted a racial slur over Mobilade's campaign sign and erected a wooden cross in front of it. They then burned the cross and sent the video footage to local news outlets. Investigators discovered their actions by tracing the Gmail account they used to spread the vile video. Same difference, I guess. Authorities also recovered surveillance footage showing 3 people staging the crime between 2:30 and 3:30 a.m. They thought up this entire thing and didn't think to check for fucking security cameras. Oh my god, dude. After the video gained traction, they boosted it on their social media profiles. West responded to a post sharing the video, writing, "This is completely uncalled for. I'm disgusted at this." Bernard posted a link to the video on his Facebook and wrote, "Respectfully, if I find out personally, someone will drown, period." Bernard received the sentence while serving time for a separate crime. He was convicted in 2024 of orchestrating the killing of a man named William Underwood, who went by the stage name FYL Jack, with 2 Ks. Man's out here orchestrating the killing of a man and also faking hate crimes while saying the Klan is the problem? In a lengthy statement shared on social media at the time, Bernard denied the allegations and said he was framed for the crime. Oh, it's just like Joey Spaghetti! When I was looking at the prisoner dating website, they had a section for dating the death row inmates, because I guess even if your life is bound to end at some point, you still deserve to get some pussy. I don't know. But like, there was a Joey Spaghetti on there, and he was like, "I ain't do it, man. They don't believe me, but like, I've been framed." And I really wanted to hear him tell that story. That would have been so much fun. Black Cloud was sentenced in January to 1 year and 1 day in federal prison on conspiracy to threaten or convey false information about a threat. That doesn't really seem like much of a sentence for this. Considering how much damage this can do if people believe their fake hate crime, 1 year and 1 day seems like fucking nothing. West pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy and reached a plea agreement with prosecutors. She was sentenced to 3 years of probation last September. Mobilade is now running for re-election in Colorado Springs. He said in court that he would be more cautious in the future. Daily Mail has reached out to Bernard's representation and Mayor Mobilade's office for comment. I really hope he gets defeated. If the only way he won was a fake hate crime, that can just be used to completely batter his entire campaign by his opponents. I mean, he probably still is in prison, and you can send him letters. That's true. He probably is still in prison, because they don't work fast on fucking executing people. Battleizer, thank you. The Dem side did it, and the Klan originated on the Dem side, so he ain't wrong, especially since he won. That's a good point. He was the Klan the whole time.
Tech, or at least I used to work in tech until recently, until my whole team got laid off. And you know the craziest part was in my exit interview, they go, "Hey, we're replacing you guys, we're getting rid of the whole team, and we're replacing you guys with Indians." Yeah, I swear to God. I looked them dead in the eye and go, "You guys know I'm Indian, right? Like, we can get the rest of these people out of here, but like, you can keep me around. I'm already Indian. We can get rid of these crackers and replace them with my friends." I know hella Indians are like, no, you don't get it. You're not the kind of Indian we want. I'm like, okay, what do you mean, what kind of Indian do you want? You want me to do an accent? I'll do the accent. I don't know if this will make me a better engineer, but it seems to be what you want, so I'll do it. And they're like, no, you don't get it. We want Indians from India. I was like, okay, sure. Like, I was born in India, moved here when I was 2. My family moved here for the job, but I guess if you want to move the job back there, I'll move back with the job. It doesn't seem like a big deal. Like, no, you don't get it. We're getting rid of you. We're moving the job to India to be done by Indians from India who live there, who will do it cheaper. And in that moment, I turned into every one of your fathers. I was like, these goddamn Indians are taking our jobs.
He's so close. He doesn't get the replacements are being paid under minimum. Yeah, I mean, that's a very comedic way to look at it, but like, you know, finally realizing he wanted to redeem but wasn't allowed. Now that it affects me, I'm gonna break away from my head in the sands. So close yet so far. It's funny how they took our jobs was actually correct, true, and fucking real. Even Indians aren't safe from SAR. They are getting defrauded everywhere, man. It's crazy. I thought that was a funny video.